Alright, now that we've got the tips shaped, the C-scissor shape, we're going to go ahead and heat up the center of the handle section. So this entire 1 foot section here. And then we're going to put a little bit of reflex into this bow and shape the handle at the same time. So here we go. Alright, so now that the handle is nice and soft, you want to give it some reflex. And then we want to go ahead and shape the handle. Just give it a nice shape to it. You want it to be thinner near the center so that you have a nice hand grip. And we're giving this a nice taper so that we retain a lot of the strength of this handle. So now you want to just kind of sight down the bow, make sure it's straight. Make some adjustments at this point. Here it is. So now that we've got this, you want to go ahead and heat this 12-inch section here, these mid limbs, and we're going to flex them back just a little bit. And then we're going to work on the recurves again, or the C-scissors again. But I'm just going to let this cool down first. So there we go. Now that we have the handle all set, we're going to heat up both of these limbs and add some deflex to this bow. Basically, we want these limbs to come back up in line with the handle so that the only net reflex that comes from this bow will come from the C-scissors themselves. That's just to increase stability. You know, a bow like this, you could string it up right now, but it's going to have some stability issues, especially if you didn't do everything 100% perfect. So this is just to add some forgiveness to this bow, and also make it able to last longer and take more abuse. So here we go. So I'm just heating up between the 2 points, and you don't want to get it too hot. Because for this, we're not trying to get it to the point where it will flex. I mean, not flex, but to the point where it will deform. So what I like to do is I like to heat it up a little bit, and then sort of manually flex it. Heat it up and then flex it, and you just keep doing that until eventually it'll start taking that flex. Alright, so here we are. Just got to make sure that everything's lining up. Looks good. So here's you can see it lines up with the handle now, pretty much. There's still a little bit of reflex, but that's okay because it's going to get taken out once the bow is strung. But I just want to keep pulling it, getting it to take this set. Okay, so now that this is done, I'm going to go ahead and heat this up, do the same thing to this side. I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. Okay, now it's time to add some recurve, or add the reflex into the Sias here. So we're just going to heat up this section right in here at the base of the Sia. We're going to flex it forward. And we're going for, I would say, about 3 inches, 3 to 4 inches of reflex on it. So really simple. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. One way to kind of check to see how much you need is to, at this point, flex the bow and just take a look at its profile. And if you're happy with the profile, then you don't have to do anything. But looking at this, you know, there's way too much flex in this area right here. It doesn't look right. So I'm going to add reflex here, and it's going to even it all out. So here we go. This is also a good time to straighten things up and make sure that your Sias line up. Okay, so I'm just going to go in and add the reflex here. You don't want this to look really, you want to try and make this transition point look as smooth as possible. With the PVC, we have the benefit of being able to do this just with heat. We don't have to do any shaping. So just want to make sure that your Sia is lining up with your 2 limbs. And your handle. It is. Okay, so you can see this is what our transition is looking like right now. Now I'm going to go ahead, do the same thing to this side. So I'll do this and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here it is, all finished up. I went ahead and I cut my nocks in here. I basically drilled a 1/4-inch hole and then cut into it with a file. You can see. So when we string this up, this bow should look something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to spray paint it, finish it up, and then tomorrow we're going to be able to shoot this thing. So here it is. Alright, here's the bow all finished up. I just went ahead and painted it green. This was painted a sort of moss colored green as the Krylon Fusion camouflage paint. Once that was painted, I went ahead and I darkened it up with a little bit of shoe polish. The shoe polish also gave it kind of a neat, subtle grain-like look to it. Then I applied a clear coat over that. The handle is just a piece of leather that I went ahead and stitched on here. Really simple. And then the Sias, I left this open on the back, or on the belly side, and then I just put a little piece of leather sort of to complement the handle and also to hide some of the larger gap here. So that's one thing you can do. It's also kind of neat because when this bow is strung, the string actually sits right there on the leather. But here, I'm going to string it for you guys. Here it is. So now that's all. Now all there's left to do is shoot it. But here it is. Here we go.